share, and I'd like you to get out your clock buddies just to look at who your number 5 clock buddy is, just so when I say to pair up later, you'll know who to pair up with. We didn't do 5 yet. Oh, well, number 4. Sorry.
Actually, I don't have a 4 clock buddy.
Is there anybody that doesn't have a number 4 clock buddy here today?
No, there never is.
Well, there you go. Okay, so you will partner me.
Yeah, you.
So now that you know who you're going to pair up with, we're going to start with a fun little activity. So you're going to think to yourself, what do these 3 words have in common? And it's helpful if you write down your ideas, because then you're going to be pairing up and sharing what you think. So a pelican, legislator, and a person in debt. So I'll give you a few minutes to think about what those 3 words have in common.
Can I have be a commonality between all 3 of them, or can it be a commonality between the 2?
Yep, it has to be for all 3 of those words that have something in common. I'll give you a few more seconds just to wrap up your thoughts. Okay, so now I'd like you to pair up with your number 4 partner and discuss what you think that those 3 words have in common. And I'll give you a few minutes to do that.
You got
The the Pelican Rapids City Council has had a deficit for the last 2 years. That's the first thing that I thought of. That's the only thing that I could think of. You?
I was still thinking. I was trying to count syllables, and I was looking for any commonalities I could find.
I was trying to make a connection between, like when you think of a pelican, they got like that big, and then, their chests a little bit in here. They've got the big breasts. So I'm trying to think of a politician being like,
Yeah. How would they relate to a person in death, though?
well, politicians.
Are in debt?
We're all in debt. Look at the deficits.
Did you think of anything that all 3 had in common?
No, not really.
Well, they all have E's in them.
That's what I
Yeah, I was counting syllables and trying to find something,
And
but
I figured they're all alive, or could be
Okay.
alive.
And
And they're all floating. The pelican floats in the water, the legislature is floating on their, all their debts, and the person in debt is also, floating checks. I didn't know, I was stretching there.
yeah,
The only difference is that
thinking
the
outside the
pelican
box.
can leave, fly away.
Yeah, yes.
No, that's all right.
And the rest are stuck. It could be, they could all be mired down in muck.
Ooh, I like that one.
Okay, so
The legislature sure is.
come back as a group now. And is there any group or groups that would like to volunteer some of their thoughts or what they think the answer is? So I know a few of you have got it, right?
I'll share a bill.
Right. So they all have bills. So this is a fun activity that you can use, think, pair, share, and then, so the first thing that you have your students do is you have them think. So you can propose a question or something for them that you want them to individually think about and collect their thoughts on. And you need to make sure that you give them adequate time to actually collect their thoughts so they can think about it. And the next part is pair. So you can put them either groups of 2 or greater, and then they can discuss what they thought about and what they think the key points were if you're using it for a key points kind of thing. And then during the pair part, it's really helpful to walk around to see what each group is talking about and discussing, so you can maybe lead them towards what you want them to be talking about and to make sure each group is staying on task. And the last part is share. So when you bring the students back together as a whole, and if you have enough time, you can go through each group and talk about what they discussed or what main points they talked about. And my addition to it is write. So normally if you're posing a bigger type of question that it requires more thinking, they can forget what they're going to say to the group, so it's really helpful to have them write it down, and it holds them all accountable because you could have them turn in that sheet for what they wrote down. And why is it useful? So this is a discussion that the students are having, and this way it gives structure to the discussion. Plus, the students follow a certain process that you use, and it's helpful to switch up the pairs frequently so that way they're not stuck to talking to the same person every time. Also, give them adequate thinking time, but don't allow too much time where the discussion can go somewhere else, which is why you also want to walk around while they're having their discussion. And this makes sure that everyone is responsible for thinking about the question and bringing their part to it. And it helps those shyer students who don't want to say their idea out loud in the classroom. They get to try out their ideas first before saying it out loud to the classroom. And there's different ways this can be used. So in a math classroom or a language classroom, you can put a word or something on the board that you want them to think about, how do you pronounce this? And then they can pronounce it to themselves quietly. And then as a group, and then you can go over how to pronounce it or how is that word used. Or the steps in the math process, you can have them write down, okay, how would you solve this? And in a history class, you can have them discuss political viewpoints, so what theirs is and what their group has. And for science, you can have them make predictions about an experiment. And for sources, this page has really good ideas for the content areas. So this has more ideas for different subjects and how you can use it. And then it also has some more hints and management ideas to help it go more smoothly. So are there any questions?
And that's on one of the websites that you have?
Yes, I put it right. So that was the ideas for our content area. This is more the how and why to use it.
Okay.
So, any questions?